Hey guys, this is Cam from 15, and this is my buddy Matt back at it with another video for you guys. And this is going to be an XFL Week 3 recap, as well as XFL power rankings, as well as predictions going on to Week 4. So this week was a really good week, another good week of XFL football. This league is obviously doing a lot of good things, and the reactions to it it's good. Obviously, when Seattle had their first home game, huge portion of people turned out. Today, we're recording this video Sunday, but it's going to be uploaded Monday. But on Sunday for the Battlehawks, they showed out too in terms of attendance. They sold out. So obviously this league is doing well in terms of attendance. So obviously the fans really care. And heck, even Tampa Bay, who's really 0-3 right now, their fans showed out and they were there too. So obviously how we're gonna start this video off. We're gonna give our rundowns of all the games, our thoughts about each of the games, go into our power rankings, and then go into our predictions. Obviously, he'll be able to stay longer this time, like he promised. But yeah. So anyways, we're gonna start off with the recap. So the first game of XFL week number 3, that was, I believe, the Houston Roughnecks at the Tampa Bay Vipers. The score was Houston winning 34-27. This game is actually a lot closer than I guarantee most of the people thought it would be. In our predictions from last week, we said we'd take this Houston in a blowout. Were we wrong? Because Tampa Bay fought back, and they actually showed a lot. They had obviously their best offensive game yet, despite the backup quarterback situations. I was very impressed with the defense, that they really, made Houston have to really work to get this W. And I guess that's one of my huge takeaways, is that Houston actually struggled against a team. So obviously, well, we'll talk even more when we get to DCLA. I guess the really good teams should not underestimate their competition. Because they obviously took it to them. Now, yes, you could say the home field advantage played a fair bit in Tampa Bay being much more of a better team. But from what I saw, it's looking like if Aaron Murray comes back and doesn't have any turnovers like he did week 1, this team can actually be a pretty dangerous team to watch out, even though they are 0-3.
Yeah, I agree. Houston, they're one guy I'm impressed with, obviously their quarterback, but the receiver Cam Phillips. I think he has 7 receptions in 3 games right now. He's leading the league in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving TDs. I mean, he's on fire, but I'm very impressed with Tampa. Like I said, they had Cornelius in there for a little bit because Aaron Murray's hurt, and they rotated Flowers in. But like you said, if they can get Aaron Murray back, he doesn't turn the ball over, and he just plays football like he can, because we all seen him in college play at the highest level of college football in the SEC. And he played well, so I think he can definitely help them out, and they're definitely a very, very underrated 0-3 team.
Obviously, in terms of maybe possibly getting a playoff thing, they probably have to win out against the rest of their, XFL East competition. So they definitely got to start winning now, and hopefully pray that the other teams in their division start losing. The next game on Saturday, which was the night game on Saturday, was the Dallas Renegades versus the Seattle Dragons. Now, I kind of tuned in and out of this game, but for the most part, Dallas ended up winning the game, so we messed up. We took the L on that prediction because we thought Seattle would win. I guess one of the takeaways I can say is, starting on the Seattle side, their defense looks pretty stout, but their offense is a question mark. And when I mean their offense, Brandon Silvers is a question mark. He's not doing a particularly good job. If not, he's doing a below average type of performance. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, sometimes he looks pretty rattled. Now, what could the Seattle offense be doing, going on? I don't know. But Brandon Silvers, he looks a little bit shaky to me, and he looks like he's just, an average quarterback. Most of the quarterbacks so far have had their breakout game, and he really hasn't had a breakout game. He's been average to decent quarterback play the last couple of weeks, but he kind of struggled this game too, and Seattle was failing to score offensive drives after that first touchdown they got.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is the only other quarterback they have is B.J. Daniels from USF, so they don't have much options. But I was actually really impressed with excuse me, Landry Jones from Dallas. I was really impressed with him. I mean, he has a lot of NFL experience playing with the Steelers and stuff like that. But I was really impressed with that. But I do think that they're gonna have to stick with Silvers. But if he can't get it done, I mean, they could roll dice and go with B.J. Daniels. But I know you're allowed to have trades in the XFL and stuff like that, and I mean, they might have to do that or sign someone that's in the free agent pool if there is one for the XFL or whatever that is. But they're gonna have to figure it out because I mean they're sitting here now. They're at the bottom of the West at 1-2.
They're tied with
and
LA.
they have to play Seattle or St. Louis. Excuse me, they have to play St. Louis next week, and that's not going to be easy. So
Yeah.
they're going to figure it out soon. I mean, I think B.J. Daniels did it right at USF when he was there, but I don't know if either of them are the option, to be honest with you.
As for Dallas, Landry Jones did have another good game. Should cut the turnovers down because they play Houston next week, I believe. And if he throws another two interceptions, they could get themselves into some trouble. Obviously, this team, yes, Landry Jones passing is good, but this team looks like it's going to be that power rushing team because of Lance Dunbar and Cameron Artis-Payne. They're doing a phenomenal job, running the ball. So I think this team is more of a running team than a passing team. I think if Landry Jones can turn down the turnovers, it will give those really good teams like a Houston and a DC, less opportunities at getting more points and, running up the score. But Dallas took this by the score of 24-12. Like I said earlier, we both got our predictions wrong on that, so we're 1-1 right now. But moving on to the next game, which was this morning's game or this afternoon's game, which was the New York Guardians versus the St. Louis Battlehawks. And God, man, New York, I'm sorry for you guys because you guys got legit no teams, first things first. So I guess you got another bum football team, It's already bad enough you got the Jets and the Giants you have to, go between. Now you got the Guardians. The Guardians just don't look good at all. They don't look good at all. They look like, I thought Tampa Bay was bad. My goodness, New York is worse. I think if you put New York against Tampa Bay again, I think Tampa Bay wins that matchup. I don't know what the hell's going on with New York. Matt McGloin, he just sucks. Like, he's bad. Marquise Williams, he didn't do no better himself either. They even brought the third string
Louis Perez in
the last minute of the game. I'm not going to say much about him because that was kind of garbage time.
Yeah.
But New York, I don't know what they need to do. Their defense for 2 weeks got gashed. And yes, you can say, albeit that's by like 2 of the 3 best teams in the league, but they got gashed. And it's not going to be good especially because next week they play my team, the LA Wildcats. And if LA does what they did today against them this upcoming Saturday, they're going to be, it's going to be bad for them. Expect boos from MetLife Stadium. I can see it. And I was actually tempted to go to that game if my money was right at the time. But New York doesn't look good. Now, as for St. Louis, they're looking pretty good. And good. Obviously, it's football back in St. Louis after the Rams and stuff like that happened, but they're looking really good. They rushed a lot on the Guardians. Tamu, he had an okay game, but then again, if you're rushing the ball down somebody's throat, there's no need to pass the ball all over the field. But before I let you talk, the one thing I did like is when there was moments where they had to pass the ball, Tamu actually completed the pass and got first downs for his team, especially in the last, in the last minute of the game, because technically the announcer was saying that the Guardians could make a comeback, but, they converted on those first downs and they kind of sealed the game.
Yeah, there's like a few things I want to bring up here. One, I think St. Louis State, the stadium was packed, and that was awesome. The fans loved it. It was
credit. Obviously,
Yeah.
you guys missed the Rams. I don't know if the St. Louis Rams changed to LA Rams fans, but obviously
Yeah.
they look like they miss football in
And
St.
that
Louis.
that was awesome. You know what I mean? Like the XFL needs something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna have to bring it up. We've talked about New York having no quarterback and Seattle having no quarterback. In New York's roster, like I said, they have McGloin, they have Luis Perez, and then they have that Williams guy from UNC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to bring this up to you because you don't believe me. I'm telling you, Johnny Manziel is better than any of those quarterbacks on those two teams. He really is.
Of course,
And I think he gets he needs a shot because listen, New York. I watched that. That was embarrassing.
They got embarrassed 2 weeks in a row.
It wasn't. There was no comeback coming. McGloin, Williams, Perez. I don't find any of them being the answer. Like I was saying about Seattle's quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to just I don't know if it's preparation or if it's just maybe they're just not talented enough. But when they went in there, they looked like they didn't even know what was going on. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
they looked like they couldn't read a defense. They had no idea what was going on. Like they looked like they would watch a lick of film. Like I was. Don't get me wrong. The XFL talent, I like it. I really do. I think the league is gonna thrive like for years to come. I really do. But there's those quarterbacks, like those.
Yeah.
There's got to be other ones that are out there. Not just Johnny, like I was saying. Not just him, but there's other ones out there that have to be better.
Especially if, say, there is a college quarterback that wants to, I guess, he don't get drafted, and he's like, let me go to the XFL and improve my draft stock or improve my stock so NFL teams can look at me more.
Stuff like even I know that kid from UCF, Mackenzie Milton. Now he hurt his leg, but like someone like him, I feel like he's just a proven winner. Like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. If he's able to come back and play.
If he was if he's not able to come back, I understand that. But like, there's like people from schools you can't really think of but they could probably get it done. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Who's the New York Guardians head coach again?
I think it's Kevin Gilbride. I think he would it's Kevin Gilbride. He
Yeah,
was the
because
Giants offensive coordinator when they won those 2 Super Bowls from 07 to 2012.
Yeah, because before we move on to the next game, there was a sideline interview, the mic'd up interview where he was talking to this one player. He was number 1. I forgot what his name was, and he was telling him like, look, I need to depend on you to be a leader because some guys I thought who would be those leaders aren't being leaders. Yeah. So obviously they're in some sort of turmoil. It looking like the DC game was goodness. It's exposing these issues. And if they get blown out against LA next week, they have some serious issues then. And obviously there's not leaders on that team stepping up helping, them rough the ship because right now the 1-2 Wildcats can right the ship and get better. Heck, even the Vipers in a losing effort, they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Obviously there's leaders on those teams telling them, like, don't keep your heads down, keep them up. Look, we're only getting better from here on. New York, they're a question mark. As for St. Louis, they're gonna get better, and they
really are.
They have a chance to do a lot of damage going on. So the last game we had, which was later this night.
Ended like an hour ago.
Well, 2 hours, 3 hours ago. Which was another prediction we got wrong, and
yeah,
I'm shocked that I did not see this coming at all. No. I kid you not. I was watching the game, just doing my homework, and so LA Wildcats, they score a nice little long bomb touchdown. I'm like, okay, they're up 6-0. DC's gonna get back. They stop DC. Okay, they get the ball back, they get stopped, but then when LA gets the ball back on offense again, they score and go up 14-0. I'm like, okay. DC's going to obviously fight back and get back in this game. Then it was 20-0. Then it jumped up to 27-0. And then I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on here? Because something is going on with DC, and they look out of character. And we're going to get to DC before we get to LA. Greg Olson and I think Rob Manfrey or something. I forgot the main commentator's name. But he does, Fox Sunday on NFL with that panel. But they were talking how disjointed and out of place that DC was, and that they're having troubles communicating, and they just look all out of sorts. If you ask me, I wouldn't say DC showed up unprepared to play, but maybe the players that took a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, about getting back at LA. Sorry, but I think Kevin McBride, who used to be on the DC Defenders, he took them to school.
Yeah.
DC just looked really out of sorts, and it didn't help that your starting quarterback throws 4 interceptions, which gave LA legit. I think almost all those interceptions, the Wildcats scored touchdowns off all of them. I don't think they did, but they scored, I think, off 2 of them. But Cardell Jones, yeah, for people who were saying MVP, his MVP rating dropped like a huge. He did not do good. The defense, they just got gashed by LA, especially the run game by Carter. He had a coming out party. 3 touchdowns? My goodness. And then, honestly, I thought the crap talking LA was giving them just got to their heads. Like, LA, for being an 0-2 team at the time, they were just owning the guys and they were talking crap on them. I was like, yikes. Also, Cardell Jones, you might want to watch, dropping N-bombs next time because they caught that. I don't think they're too happy about that.
Yeah. I'm really impressed with LA, though. I really am.
Yeah.
They were 0-2 going into this week. I'm sitting there and like I said, the first week they had that Knopf kid from Princeton starting, and nothing on Princeton football, but I just don't. That's not like a big football school. They got Josh Johnson back, who 2 years ago played for the Redskins when Alex Smith went down. So he has some NFL experience. He came in. They lost to Dallas last week at what I think it was.
And the crazy thing about that is they got much better. Much better. Week 1, they were terrible. They started off really good in the first half against Houston, and then after that, they were terrible. And then Dallas, they played a much better game. So it's looking like that defensive coordinator firing Winston Montstead obviously is helping out because these guys are like dogs right now.
Josh Johnson, I'm really impressed. He had a really good stat line today. And, good for him because I read it was like he's been in 12 NFL seasons. He's been on 13 NFL teams.
Yeah.
And that's tough. You're moving from all over the country. You're not making the great amount of money. You need to support yourself. And then good for him, And I really am a big supporter of like minor leagues in sports. And this is huge. And I really do hope the XFL lasts for long and because it gives people opportunities.
Yeah. The LA defense, they showed out. And the crazy thing is this. They gave up 37 points week 1.
Houston's different.
Yeah.
They're different.
I'll say that in a few minutes. I'll say what I think about Houston and LA again. Week 2, they gave up 25 to Dallas. This week they only gave up 9
to DC. And DC, DC was averaging 28.5 or 29 going into the game. So let them 9. That's impressive.
That's insane. And they did that with a defense with their 2 backup cornerbacks. 2 backups. That's impressive. Listen, it's crazy. I know you can't compare XFL and NFL, but in the NFL, if there's 2 backup corners starting for an NFL team, I'm sorry, they're getting burnt. In this, they played against one of the best, wide receiver cores in DC and literally took them to school. I don't know who number 15 was, but he made a tweet, before the game, saying he wants to get back at them so bad. Guy didn't even do nothing. If you ask me, DC got embarrassed. I feel like this game going into next week is only going to fuel them to be much better and probably take it out on their next opponent. Because, gosh, they're not going to have it. All I can say is if there's going to be another season next year, obviously, this game's going to be LA and DC in DC's, and I can't wait to see that match because that's going to be like some kind of revenge vendetta game. And I was about to say, I think personally, with how the defense is playing, I think they could play a much better game against the Houston team, against the Roughnecks. That's just my opinion. I know I'm saying that as a fan of the team, but I just feel like in my hardest of hearts, they could play maybe a better game. Just going around, especially the fact now they got Josh Johnson as their quarterback.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is also, I got to point out, Evan Spruce, he did literally next to nothing. The star of the game was, Carter and McBride today. They went off, but yeah, that was the recap of week number 3. Like I said, we went 2 for 4 in our predictions. So we might need to do.
We're gonna do better.
We might need to do a little bit better because some of the games we just didn't see now. Okay, the DC. I think the DC LA game, you had to be like some kind of crazy person to bet on LA to win that game. But who would have thought that LA would blow them out? If I thought LA would win, they would be winning like a close game, like down to the wire. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it would be a blowout. So if you predicted that LA would win in a blowout, you must have got a lot of money tonight.
Props to you, yeah. Like that's crazy.
I think that's the one game no one saw coming, and I think the best game of this week was obviously Houston versus Tampa Bay.
Oh, I agree. That was a really good game this week, and like I said, I'm really impressed with Tampa Bay. And going up against DC next week, we'll make our predictions in a little bit. So,
we're gonna now give our power rankings. So, obviously, I think we talked it over. I think we kind of come to the conclusion after we talked that our power rankings are going to be the same, regardless. So nothing should change. So number 8, I don't think it's without a doubt. I know the Vipers are 0-3, but let's be real. Number 8 in power rankings are going to be the New York Guardians.
Yeah, they are, like I said, they're pathetic. I don't see them winning much more games this year, if winning any at all, if they stick with their quarterback situation.
New York's just
sign Johnny. Bring in Johnny.
He's a huge Johnny Manziel.
Vince McMahon, listen, bring Johnny in.
He's a Johnny Manziel fan, if you guys didn't know. Huge. You don't understand how much I have to hear this guy. He's got a Johnny Manziel Browns jersey. That's how much he loves this guy. New York, they just flat out suck. They literally might just go winless the rest of the season if they can't figure out the ship. Because goodness, their defense is getting gashed, and I guess you can't blame them for getting gashed because the offense can't move the ball down the field to save their lives.
No, they can't.
So that thing might be all sorts of crazy. So
they scored 9 this week, and they had 0 last week. In the first week, they played Tampa Bay, and I mean they had 23, but that was that's week 1. And so the past 2 weeks they've scored 9 points.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Big Apple people.
Your hockey teams are doing all right, maybe.
Yeah, your Yankees might end up being really good this season. Sorry about your other
Red
teams.
Sox.
Yeah, the New York Guardians. There's nothing else you can say. They gotta fix this ship or something before anything. And they got LA coming into their building off that great performance. They might be done. they're giving me. They should better hope they're not. They're like don't have what Tampa Bay's going on right now. Because if Tampa Bay didn't do those turnovers, they might be looking at 0-4 right now. Okay, so number 7, we got Tampa Bay Vipers. The reason why is they played a pretty competitive game against the Houston Roughnecks. They impressed me. Cornelius impressed me a lot. I still don't think he's the long-term starting quarterback thing, and I still think they need to have the quarterback, thing fixed out.
I think Aaron Murray, though, if he comes back from injury, like I said, he played big college football.
Mm-hmm. I think they said Aaron Murray's coming back next week, and I think you said they're playing DC next week.
Yeah, DC is at Tampa Bay. That's a Sunday night game, 7 p.m. on ESPN2.
Okay, so obviously that will be a tough game, but who knows? Maybe Tampa Bay paying attention to what LA did, maybe that can help them and be like, well, if they were 0-2 and we're 0-3, we can take it to DC. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, DC is going to be coming off an embarrassment of a loss, so you never know what DC will be able to do. But their defense looked good. Despite being an 0-3 team, they looked really good this past week. If they keep it up, even in another loss against DC, depending how New York does next week, Tampa Bay, shockingly, could be an 0-4 team at number 7.
Yeah, they could. Like, another thing I'm going to advocate again for Quentin Flowers. I know maybe he shouldn't be the full-time quarterback when Aaron Murray comes back, but you got to sprinkle him in there at quarterback, running back, H-back, get him out the slot. Just get the ball in his hands, put it that way.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to help him out, I think. And like we said, when Aaron Murray comes back, He's played big time college ball. Like he knows what he's doing. So I think that's gonna help out a lot.
So number 6. I don't know if this is going to be you're different, but I think we should agree on this, and I think number 6 will be the Seattle Dragons.
Yeah, I agree because I'm not sold on Silvers as a quarterback, to be honest with
Their defense looks legit. Like their defense looks really good, especially in that home crowd. They create havoc and they can create turnovers. It's just the offense I'm not too okay about. Brandon Silvers, like we said in our recap part of the video, I don't know, he's not looking too good. He's looking shaky. He looks like he doesn't throw the ball with any conviction. And he just looks like he double clutches the ball sometimes. And, it looks like it looks like he throws like a lot of checkdowns or a lot of incompletions. Obviously, the defense, like I said, is fine. But I think for the offensive side of the part, obviously they should be ranked at 6.
you. Yeah, I mean they aren't putting up points like they should. They haven't gone over 19 yet this year. So, and like I said, I'm not a big fan on Silvers, to be honest with you. I don't really know any of their backups yet, to be honest. So I have to look at that. But I think they're a 6. And to be honest with you, if Tampa Bay plays close this week with DC and Seattle gets blown out, I could even see Tampa Bay jumping to 6 at home forward, to be honest with you. They're Tampa Bay's time. They're big for me.
That will only happen if Tampa Bay keeps that game close against DC.
Yeah, it has to be close.
Or if they pull up some sort of upset on DC and where DC just loses another game. So in number 5, we got the LA Wildcats. They really impressed a lot of people and maybe made the shock of the day in terms of XFL football because they beat, well, at the time, the current best, most complete team in the league in the XFL. So I guess last week's prediction on you choosing Houston as number 1, I guess you have your point there. But they really look good. Josh Johnson is doing a great job as the quarterback, and they were missing their starting running back Elijah Wood. But their backups came in and filled in quite nicely.
Yes, they did.
So obviously they look like they got some kind of running back tandem they can switch out every now and then. And their defense, now that Winston Moss, the head coach, is calling the defense, they look a lot much more better and looks like what Winston Moss wants out of his defense. And if they didn't play Houston and Dallas, they could have been, if they didn't play them early on, they could actually maybe be competition for winning the West in the XFL. It sucks that they had to play 2 division rivals to start off the year, but they can end the year off with a pretty good record. And they play New York, so they can get to 2-2 by next week. Now New York should be an easy game for them, but like I said, who knows what could happen. Jesus, we thought DC would run the tables with Los Angeles, and they didn't. But I think if Los Angeles keeps this tough, gritty mindset, especially on defense, they can win a lot of games.
They can win multiple games. And they're in Houston is going to, I think, pull over the West, but I think LA, Dallas, both of them could be the 2 seed in that division. So
yeah, depending if Dallas loses games, I think LA needs to hope that Dallas starts losing games because Dallas has the one up on LA. So if they have the same record by the end of the year, Dallas is going to edge them out for second place.
Yeah, so they better hope Dallas does lose a few games here and there. So
number 4, we got the Dallas Renegades. They obviously look pretty good, not really good, but there's still some kinks that need to be worked out. Landry Jones, in my opinion, still needs to stop turning the ball over because I think this past Saturday, he had like another 2 interceptions this game. I'd say limit the turnovers because when you play the DCs and the Houstons and the St. Louis teams, they'll pick you off. And, LA last week picked him off 2 times and made him look pretty bad. So I think he needs to limit the turnovers. Obviously, I think their thing is they look like a power running team behind Lance Dunbar.
Yeah, Mark Trestman's been kind of known for that, I feel like, too. You know what I mean?
Mark Trestman, he's the Vipers coach.
Oh, excuse me.
Bob
Uh,
Stoops.
was it Soups?
Bob Stoops.
Maybe I was wrong. Okay, but they have who's the running back?
Lance Dunbar
Yeah,
and Cameron Artis
exactly.
Kane.
So those two, they have both of them. You know, that's a good 1-2 punch right there and a good tandem, I think.
And then their tight end, I don't know his name, but he's really good too. He's I would say so far one of the best tight ends in the league right now. Their defense looks, a pretty decent defense. Pretty stout. But then again, their defense was against a Brett and Silver led Seattle Dragons team, and they kind of let Tom who kind of beat them, and Josh Johnson in his first week beat him. But Dallas is still good at number 4. So for you Dallas fans, it's still pretty promising. They still
Yeah.
can win the West. They got to definitely beat Houston and essentially probably win out and hope Houston start losing some games.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna need Houston to lose a few games, but just getting in would be good for them. Just
Yeah.
getting, if you get the 2 seed, you're at least in.
So number 3, we got the DC Defenders. Yes, they dropped for me, they dropped a whole 2 spots. Um, Now DC, they obviously going into next week. They need to have a breakout performance, and that's the type of game to make it. Realize like no, we were at the top. Let's get back to top. Play. They got embarrassed against the LA Wildcats. Just frankly got embarrassed. So I guess all that talking to, especially for the players that got traded to DC, who were doing all the talking. They might need to do their talking next week against Tampa Bay. Otherwise, I don't know
They're
if I can
gonna-
hear crickets again because I don't even think. I think it was Anthony Joshua or something like that. I forgot. I think his name was Joshua or something like. His last name was Joshua, but he was a D lineman. He got no sacks on Josh Johnson. They obviously need to come out play much better, and they're gonna have to do that against. I hate to say it, but against another winless team. And I think that's going to be another hard fought game personally because Tampa Bay, they almost had it. And obviously Tampa Bay is going to be hard and gritty going into week 4.
Yes, I'm big on Tampa Bay. I don't know. I think this week just turned it around for me on Tampa Bay. They just did what they need to do. That's what they did, and that's what it comes down to, I guess.
So the next, which is number 2, is St. Louis. So St. Louis jumps up for me from 3 to 2. They did a good job, just from the standpoint they looked like a really good team. They just really do their own thing. When they run the ball efficiently, they do really well, and I think that will complement Jordan Ta'amu. As he develops more into a quarterback that will be able to read, defenses and I think he's not hit his ceiling yet. He's only going to get better with each game he plays.
Oh, I agree. Couldn't agree anymore. That's just the type of player he is too, and he goes out there and he's the type of player I feel like he goes out and he works. He hasn't had he always feel like he plays with that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like that. I like that a lot about it.
So St. Louis is looking good, and they got another home game against Seattle. So I expect them to win that game too. So now our number 1 team in the XFL will be the Houston Roughnecks. Yes, they got challenged by the Tampa Bay Vipers, but then again, that's against a winless team. Of course, winless teams, even in the NFL, are going to be hard and gritty to beat because they're going to be hungry to get that W. But the one thing I can see is this team, despite Tampa Bay getting the upper edge on them in a few parts of the game, they came back and fought back against Tampa Bay. When they needed to score, they went down the field and scored some points. And Cam Phillips, goodness gracious.
He is just on fire. He is something different.
Right now, him and Evan Spruce are right now looking like the best 2 receivers in the game, in the XFL right now. That dude, the connection he and PJ Walker have, goodness. Now, I thought PJ Walker would have some kind of great connection with Sammy Coates. This is another story. If you're telling me if Cam Phillips keeps this up, he can earn himself a damn near NFL contract if he keeps this up. He can earn himself a contract, and obviously, Walker's using his experience on the practice squad when he was with the Colts to only get better, and he's shown why right now he's leading the league right now, tied with Cam Phillips right now for MVP.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Phillips, he's got 324 receiving yards in 3 games, and he's got 7 touchdowns in 3 games, averaging over 100 yards and over 2 touchdowns a game. I mean, if he keeps this up, I guarantee he'll be in the NFL. He'll have an NFL contract waiting for him.
Yeah.
And this stuff that's why I love leagues like this. Like, that guy would never get known unless it was for
this
a league like
league.
this. So it's good for everyone involved. I feel like NFL, XFL, fans, players, everyone involved.
And Houston, they're looking like if not, they are the best team right now. They are looking like the best team right now. They have already beaten St. Louis, so they have an edge on St. Louis. We still have yet to see what they do against DC and even against Dallas. But obviously it's like they only keep getting better. And I really like the hard fight they had, because they got punched in the mouth a few times by Tampa Bay this past week. And they're like, okay, that's it. We're not going to be like Wilder, who got beat up. They didn't fold they didn't get beat up like DC got beat up today. They withstood the punishment. They withstood the blows that Tampa Bay was giving them, and they're like, okay, we're only going to counter you back. You stopped us this time, but next time we go out there, you ain't stopping us. And they did that. And heck, one of the worst plays Tampa Bay had last week was when the safety came down thinking that Walker was going to run, and he left the guy wide open. I swear, that was if I was a DB coach, I'd be chewing that guy out. I still remember that play like yesterday, and that was one of the worst defensive plays, and I played DB when I was in high school. And if I ever see that again, I don't know what to say. Other than that, that's really our power rankings for going in for this for week 3. Now we're gonna give our predictions. Hopefully we don't mess up our predictions as bad as last time. But so we're gonna start off with the games, and our first game is going to be LA versus New York Guardians. The Guardians, they should give a fight if they're at home, so they should play with a little bit more energy. But I think, just being fair, if New York plays the same way it's been playing the last 2 weeks, they are going to get blown off the field by LA, especially if LA gets that performance they did, this week. I do expect LA to get, I wouldn't say 4 interceptions, but maybe 2 interceptions, possibly 3. Despite who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
I got LA winning this. I could see by 2 touchdowns.
I could see by maybe like 10 points, 10 points. It might be a little bit closer, but I do see LA pulling this off. It's in New York, I believe, but I do still see LA pulling this off.
The next game will be Seattle at St. Louis, and I got St. Louis.
Of course. I got them too. I mean,
Unless Seattle, and like I said, unless Brandon Silvers has his going out party game, because literally almost every well, I guess to an extent New York, but almost every XFL quarterback, whether it was a backup or not, they've had their breakout game so far. So who knows what Brandon Silvers could be doing. I got Seattle because I feel like
no, you got St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis. God dang it. St. Louis, if St. Louis, if their fans come out and support them and have another, huge pressure game, I think that will get to Brandon Silvers and the Seattle Dragons. I say for Seattle, try to establish the run early on, and then maybe you can have Brandon Silvers pick them apart in the pass. We'll see how it goes. The next game, the first game on Sunday, will be a pretty big game, which I think will expect to be the game of the week.
Yeah, it's the 1 and 2 in the West, so.
Yeah, Houston and Dallas. In Dallas. Now, obviously a battle between 2 Texas teams, so obviously I feel like, Globe Life Field is going to be packed between Roughnecks and Renegade fans. But this is going to be an interesting game. And I got Houston winning by a close margin. I would say, I can see that's the crazy thing. I wouldn't say by 3 points, but I would say by maybe a touchdown.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be a good game. Like I said, it's the 1 and 2 in the West right now. And if Dallas loses and LA wins, then LA is gonna get up there and be tied right 2 and 2 with them, and that's big for LA. So it's a big game for Dallas. I feel like Dallas is gonna come out hungry, but I don't. Like I said before, I'm a big June Jones guy. I love the way he coaches. He run and shoot offense. Like they're running, they're going, and I got Houston with, and I'm saying PJ Walker is gonna throw another. He's gonna throw 3 touchdowns and run for one.
Okay.
And what's his name? The receiver.
Cam Phillips.
Cam Phillips is gonna score another 2 touchdowns and go for over 100.
Okay. I think my keys to this game. I think turnover is going to be huge in this game. Okay. I think turnovers are going to be huge in this game because whoever turns the ball most in this game will determine who will more than likely win.
I agree. Yeah.
Like I said, if Landry Jones doesn't throw any interceptions, Dallas has a shot to win this game. If he throws 2 picks, I guarantee you, Houston scores off one of those interceptions. If not both of them, at least one of them.
Yeah.
And that could be at a key point in the game when they need to. Obviously, Dallas' defense is going to have to get stops when they need to get stops. And I'd say for Dallas' case, establish the run and then, open up the passing because then you can get the run going with Lance Dunbar and Cameron Artis-Payne. You might be having the Houston defense on heels because last week there was parts of the games where the Houston defense were on its heels until they actually, the last moment, had to clamp down and play some good defense. And then the last game will be DC at Tampa Bay. So DC is going to be in another late night primetime game. Hopefully they don't embarrass themselves again.
It's at 7 p.m. on ESPN2.
And I'll be honest, even though it's going to be against a hungry, winless Tampa Bay team, I got DC winning this game in a blowout. The reason why they need to use the aggression this past game against LA, take that all out on, Tampa Bay and be like, look, we're not losing to another winless team, and we're not going to have a winless team, mop the floor off us again. Now, Tampa Bay could play a factor into what DC does. That obviously the crowd in LA affected what DC did. And they looked discombobulated. I think Pep Hamilton will have his guys more prepared to the point that they don't look so disjointed. Hopefully, Cardell Jones does not have an anemic performance throwing the ball again and really forcing some passes that never needed to be forced. Like, you can look at his 4th interception. That was terrible. There was nobody in the area. So I got DC, as much as it's crazy to say, with Tampa Bay doing good as of late this past week. I got DC in a blowout.
I have DC as well. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout, but I got DC. But this is a big game for both DC and Tampa Bay because they're both in the East. And if DC wins and pulls this off, DC goes to 3-1. Tampa goes to 0-4.
No,
and it's going to be tough to get in that 2 spot because they have St. Louis there too.
But
if Tampa wins this game, they're at 1-3. DC is at 2-2. Your game behind there.
Yeah.
That's big. So for both teams, this is a huge game.
This is a huge game. This could, like I said, I feel like the Houston-Dallas game or this game, depending on how Tampa Bay plays, could be game of the week.
It's going to be, I like it. This is the latest they started. I think the game earlier today started at 6 p.m. So it's like the first real, 7 p.m. primetime game. So I'm excited for it. I'm going to be up watching it. It's going to be a good game. I'm a real big fan of the XFL so far, and I really hope it works. I heard Vincent Mann. I heard when the season started, he already had like the first 2 years of everything paid off. He has it on, like I said, next week games, ABC, Fox Sports 1, ESPN2, all channels that everyone has. They're the regular main channels. That's huge for like the AAF. Like we were talking about that. It was hard to find. It was on like Bleacher Report Live sometimes, and just different channels. I really do hope this is working because the product on the field is good too. So,
and I know I'm saying keep this away from WWE wrestling, but like I said, if they need some of that extra money, they could use some of that money from WWE to put into this. But as well as sales are doing good from ticket sales and stuff like that, like I said, I'm not saying like next year, but maybe if they're greenlit to possibly do a 3rd season of the XFL, if, this season and they do a 2nd season and the 2nd season is success, like I said, that's when they can start adding more teams, I would say. And I would say add two new teams. If they want to add teams, I would say add two new teams every 2 years if it's really going to be successful. If they continue to be successful, I see them adding, another two teams, not next season, but the third season of the XFL, and it could go back to any city. Obviously, you have to put a city on the West Coast and the city on the East Coast. Um, but it's looking really good. It's looking like the fans are really liking this, and if it gets the money, if it makes the money it makes, we definitely will see this, you know, next year, in 2021. How crazy is that? And we're only 2020. But yeah, this league is starting off really good. Another great week of XFL football. And I can't wait for this upcoming week because it's gonna be another big week. So
It is. It's gonna be huge. This is. We're getting. I mean, we're already almost halfway
yeah,
done this year. So,
only two more weeks and we're at the halfway point of the season.
it's coming down to the wire now.
Yeah.
And I like that already about it. So it's got games that have a real playoff future playoff implication that are coming up. So I like that a lot.
So yeah, other than that, that's really it for this video. So anyways, guys, we're gonna get out of here. This has been Camper 15, and this is Matt Swarmstead. If you liked the video, leave a like. If there's comments you want to put down in the comment section regarding what's your thoughts on this week's of the XFL, matchups happen, and what were your predictions, and did you mess up on them, or did you go, 4-0 to this week? And put that in the comment section. Also, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more XFL content on this channel. We will be doing, essentially, and whenever we can, we'll be trying to do a video of XFL, of something like this after every XFL Sunday game, after every XFL game's over, whether it's Sunday or Monday. That we'll try to bring it as quickly as we can. It's looking like the schedule is we'll make a video every Sunday, but videos will go up Monday, unless anything changes. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here because I gotta make a video right now, another one. But
And I have a 7 in the morning class, so I gotta go to bed.
yeah, because it's almost 11. Other than that, we're gonna get out of here. We'll see you guys next week. So other than that, hopefully you guys have a great night or a great day or whenever you're checking this video out. We'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.